2019, and then a few months after, COVID hits. Right. So I think COVID can be, we can have a comparison to what is happening right now with AI. You enter a new world, you enter the market, and at the same time you enter a world that is changing. And you have no tools that are given to you for that. I studied communications and advertising, so we may say that it was kind of an everyday skill, right? So how do you position yourself on the market? So to answer your question, I wouldn't say that you need to choose one or the other. Just go out there and learn from whatever is given to you. On my side, I had to find a job, but half of the country I was living in was unemployed. And for sure, being just a student coming out of school wasn't putting me at the top of the list to be hired. So I became a salesperson on the phone. I had to call people and sell them, how do you call that, diets. I hated that job. I hated it so much, but I knew I needed to stay active. And along that experience, I actually learned valuable skills, because selling is key in every sector today. So after 3 months, I was ready to leave that experience, but each and every single experience I gained after that, I worked for an NGO because I realized I wanted to do something in education. And at some point you will see that the pieces of the puzzle will put itself together. And you will be able to finally match the skills you've learned, so whether it is hard skills, whether it is the soft skills as well that you've learned, to bring something valuable to whatever company you will work for, or for whatever business you will decide to start. And to answer the question about problem describing, problem solving, well, this is not something that I learned from a day to another. It's actually a hard exercise. But you need to first observe the world around you. And my drive, what I realized I wanted to do after university, is that I felt very lost after university, and I wanted to help people, help other fresh new people on the market to find their drive as well. So from that moment on, my drive was transmission, education, and up until today, in whatever I do, I find a way to integrate it in it. So you will see maybe problems around you, problems in schools, things that you would not thought, but instead of just thinking to yourself, nobody taught me that, think to yourself, how can we change that, and how can I be the one bridging that gap and making sure that the people after me will be able to have a solution, and you might be the person bringing that solution. I don't know if that answers your question.
I hope you've been answered, and yes, thank you very much. LinkedIn contacts. It's not about having a lot of people. You might have 3 or 4 very, very important people, and you penetrate. So, back to my question. When we hear that networking is key, what does good mentorship actually look like? How can alumni help students in a way that's real, not just motivational quotes? Thank you.
I'd like to come back on one of the unpopular quotes. The one saying that your first job will probably not be what you studied. And yes, it probably won't be what you studied. Even myself, it wasn't. But I would say that the network, the alumni, what they can bring you, is experience. And what I mean by experience is don't be afraid to do any kind of experience that will be offered to you. Don't be afraid to volunteer. When you leave school, most of the time, to come back on the myth, you believe that now you're ready to fulfill a specific position in a specific organization. But the reality is that you will have to prove yourself, you will have to try, you will have to fail, and only then, this is how you will find your path. And to come back on passion as well, I believe that you might not have the answers now, but find what is driving you. And if you align yourself with that, trust me, life will naturally send you where you need to be. So don't be afraid to try out, don't be afraid to give your time, even if you won't have anything in return. But along that way, you will make your networking, you will meet people that will trust you. And this is the way that eventually you will find the path and the career that makes sense for you.
All right, so back to Mr. Bernard. I think among those unpopular statements, you can choose one based on your experience. What one would you choose to tell these people around?
I think I chose the other one, which states that the job and in relation to what you study. It's possible you can do the profession you didn't study, as long as you develop some competences around it. We have seen some successful people who succeeded in the different area. Even you, I know your experience. You were much successful in the communication, yet we did economics together. So it's possible as long as you know how to penetrate and how to apply the other foundational skills which have been covered here. You can, and I know the RTB is having the short courses in the 3 months or 6 months. You can learn something which is different from what you learned for a long time, and you catch up and you do good as long as you match it to the passion that you're covering. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't want to be, as I said, it is not a lecture, it's a discussion that is going to not depend on my questions only. I just want to pick 3 questions from the audience to the panelists here, so that at least this session balances. So if you have a question, you can raise your hand, and then we have someone who is going to give you the microphone from behind there. And then these panelists are going to answer them. But make sure this question is really personalized. It goes to what you think you want and what you think they have. So, do we have a question from the audience? We have someone there with a barkash. That falls under your docket as well.
Thank you very much. I want to give a clarification that opportunities rise in the private sector. In the statistics we have is that above 91% of the opportunities being the employment is in the private sector. Only around 5% is in the public, and 3% in the household-related works. So it's a homework, and I think this conference is part of it to ensure that the private sector is really supported this. The government is having some programs, of course, but they would be limited. We are having the National Professional Internship. My colleague Shadia, with the partnership with the UNICEF, we started what we call Ingas platform, which is the one-stop center for upskilling and learning, whoever from the high school up to the university level, you can go to the platform and get some, even the foundation skills we have been talking about, but also the technical competencies. You can get the courses there. So Ingazi is open for Rwandans and foreigner students. For the government, that internship was tied to the nationals, but we opened it up a bit to include the refugees. They are catered. However, the placement are limited due to that the private sector collaboration, being the industry, being the universities, collaboration is still have some room to work on it and to make sure we understand it as shared the responsibility. I heard that from the academic perspective, they are welcome. Most of the universities in Rwanda, they have even foreigners studying there. The problem comes when it comes to work-based learning or workplace learning, where we still have some challenges, but the market is open. We can still look at how to improve with the private sector to incorporate. But then with the, I know from the DJI, once they have the permit, the working permit, they are allowed to penetrate the market. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Shadia, from your own perspective, not from the UNICEF perspective,